I'm going to try. Hey, guys, if you got knocked off,
Yeah,
I think
I'll say
Iceman's
it's
hanging
been
with
kind of
us.
rough for me this past week because uh, this week I work with a lot of FSU fans.
Oh,
And,
yeah. Were they talking some smack on
oh,
you?
gosh. No, it's worse. I got to put a FSU sticker on my car. It's not very good.
Well, would
It's
tickets
my
to the
boss,
Wisconsin
too.
game make you feel better?
Yeah, well, I got the script A on the car.
Yeah, but
People just know that, they know it's up.
Yeah.
But the other end of the bet was I was going to get them a Derrick Henry jersey and make them wear that. I got to say it's kind of funny because I do work with some Florida Gator fans too, and they're like, "What the heck happened?" I was like, "Well, you know what? We've been telling you for 2 years now. that USF team is no joke. So have fun with that."
Yeah. Well, they gave us a tussle, man. They were tough when we had to play them the last few years. So they beat the hell out of Boise State. So I mean, it wasn't like you're talking about a team that wasn't any good. I think Florida knew they were good too. I mean, maybe the perception was that they weren't good, but I watched the game. I didn't think Florida. I look at the lack of effort that we played with last week. That's why I was pissed off. It wasn't the outcome of the game. It was just we didn't play with enough effort. We didn't play with we didn't play with passion. We didn't act like we wanted to be there. We looked unprepared. I think UCF's a good team. Yeah, and they could be one of those teams at the end of the season that's knocking on the door for one of those playoff spots. Because now they got a couple pretty big wins under their belt. I mean, they still got to keep going, but they're not bad.
Wins.
Yeah, two ranked teams.
Yeah, two ranked wins.
Yeah, I watched both of those games. So, I saw Billy Napier after the game. Yeah, guys, I don't know what happened if you're jumping back on again. I think when Clint got off, he accidentally hit the button to hang up the stream, which StreamYard needs to fix that. It's been one of those nights when it comes to technology.
It must be one of those nights.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts, Ice?
I'm sorry, repeat that one.
I said, any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, you're cutting out again.
Am I?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling, brother.
Oh yeah. Anytime, man. I'll call you next week. Hopefully the phone line will be too blown up, and maybe we can talk to Clint. So roll tide. See you next week.
See you, brother. All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. Ice, one of my main men right there, and a great call. Let's go right back at it again. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mick, it's Stan from L.A. How's it going?
What's up, Stan?
Well, it's not an Arturo Fuente night, but hey, I'm still smoking the stogie. Pretty good tonight. I like the effort. I like the focus. I still think that the O-line is not blocking well enough for the running game, and there wasn't a lot of push on some of that stuff, and they finessed a lot tonight. So I would have liked to have seen a man up a little bit more on the line and continue to push the run game a little bit. But Ty got his reps in. I mean, dude went 17 for 17. And he was picking them apart nice and easily. Had a touchdown called back on a BS call. So, they did what they needed to do. The defense, they played well. But, the litmus test is next week. I mean, this was good. It's a good practice session. And I'll look at it like that. I think that they really need to if we put 73 on Wisconsin, then we could probably talk a little bit. But for right now, I'm going to take this. It's a good step forward. I did like what DeBoer said. He's saying the right things now, and I think he's slowly beginning to put the message for this team. And he basically said, it's every play. Stop looking at the scoreboard. You got to be intense. You got to be violent on every play. So I like that talk. And if the team continues to understand and his communication actually disseminates on the football field, we'll have a better outcome. So they know that they've had their mulligan, and I like the way that they turned the page. So let's just keep up the momentum and beat the living crap out of Wisconsin. Let's put them out early. Let's not let their line dictate us. Let's let our lines. I want to see our lines just absolutely dominate. So until I see that, it's ULM. It's a nice practice session, but next week is, I think, going to be the pivotal point to see where we're really at right now. So if they keep up the intensity, that'd be great. So
yeah,
I love it, man.
Well, roll tide, brother. Great call.
It's a good W.
Yeah. Look, I
love you too.
Hey,
you guys are awesome. All right.
Thanks. Hey, thanks, man. Have that Fuente, Stan from LA, one of those great callers. I agree, man. I think we all kind of are in the same boat right now. Like, hey, this is a building block. And what we do from here to the next game, it matters. The fact that, this team's toughness has been questioned. Their manliness. They're known for being soft. You go back and watch that Florida State film, and there's just so many times where you're like, what's going on here? I talked to a former player, the guy just got out of the NFL a few years ago, and I can't even paraphrase his thoughts of that defense. The disappointment, the fact that we let them push us around like that. And today certainly seemed like they took it a lot more seriously and brought that intensity. All right, let's go back to the phone lines again. Who's this and where are you calling from?
I'm Hunter from Hartford, Alabama.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Well, I agree with everything the last caller said, but something that I was looking forward tonight was to see. I felt like last week in the Florida State game, we didn't get lined up, properly in some scenarios because of how fast they were going. And I know this is a different team, a different caliber team, but I felt like we were on defense. We were, even when they kind of did go a little up tempo a couple times, we were able to get lined back up on defense and get right where we needed and play with that intensity. So, that was the thing that we needed. And I thought that we did it for the whole game. It wasn't just, we didn't just get up and then just kind of slouch. I think these guys played hard for all 60 minutes of the game, and that's really what you wanted to see. But like everybody else has said, this has got to translate to next week and be a building block and not just a one-off.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. And this is a confidence builder. This is also a complete game. I mean, I'm going back a while now. I can't tell you the last time we played a complete game. Does anybody remember? I mean, it's got to be 2020. I can't remember us playing a game from start to finish where we kicked the shit out of somebody like this since the 2020 team.
I felt like we did it times last year.
From pillar to post
last year against LSU.
Yeah, maybe that game, but there just always seems like there's like a drive or two, where it's like today was total domination. Total domination. I mean, this felt like a Saban game, except Saban would have called off the dogs. DeBoer didn't call them off. DeBoer sending a message to the team. This wasn't about embarrassing ULM. This was about telling the team that the standard is from the beginning to the end. And that's it. And we needed that. But then next week, you're right. It's a tougher game. It's a upgrade in the competition level. Yeah, Chris says it's the most complete game since DeBoer's been there, and I agree with that. James says he's drinking some Crimson wine. Hey, I got you on that one too. But yeah, I mean, I still think that I think that it's one step towards what we want to get to, right? And that's a team that has a chance to win a championship. long way to go.
Right. And, you're right. And, another thing that I was looking for this week, too. And I don't know if he didn't do this last week because he was probably like the rest of us. DeBoer was probably just in utter shock at what his eyes were seeing. But there was a couple of times tonight, I don't know if you noticed in the game, where after a kid made a mistake or something, he went over and talked to the players. Now, he didn't yell at them. And I know probably a lot of people want him to yell and scream. But I just don't think that's Kalen's style. I think he wants to talk to them, in a way that is, that is more, I don't think he's very rah-rah. But he, I've seen a couple times where he went over to players and was talking to them and coaching them up. And that's what I wanted to see because he didn't do that last week. And I thought that was very odd that he didn't do that. And, the play that I remember specifically is when Kirkpatrick got that bogus call, targeting call.
Yeah.
He went over to him and was talking to him, and he did it a couple other times too in the game that I noticed. So that was good to see. I think that's good to see that he's, in there coaching them up and being involved. I just didn't see that last week, and that was very disheartening to me last week. So I don't know if he was just in shock of what he was seeing and didn't know what to say, or but I was glad to see that.
I was glad to see Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. I know he got that. They kicked him out for one of those for his last tackle. I love that intensity. I want somebody out there laying a hat. I want somebody bringing the intensity. His dad was a great player, and the way that he played tonight, he's a great player. We need somebody like that. We need that intensity out there. We need somebody laying hats. And after last week's game, I mean, think about, which I still think the hit on Ryan Williams was a cheap shot to me. I mean, but whatever. That's the way it goes out there. And you got to go out there and hit. I felt like it was more of a legitimate hit that he got kicked out of the game for today, that they waved the flag off last week. But those guys were out there hitting. Earl Little Jr., who played for us, played for Florida State, was out there, flying around. It was good to see our guys flying around today. And even though the score was lopsided in Alabama's favor, he was still out there playing with that intensity that we need to have. So I was glad to see that, man. And I know a lot of guys today was so different than last week because there's so many players that you look at and just appreciate the intensity and the performance that they brought today and the pride. And, I thought he was one of those guys that stood out to me.
Right. He did. And the thing about these targeting penalties that I don't understand is, okay, when it's an actual football play and it has nothing to do with a kid, you can see when it's intentional and you can see when it's, deliberate. But that was just a football play, and that was just unfortunate, movement of the body. You can't slow yourself down enough when you're going in for a hit like that, even though you are leading with your shoulders, to stop the momentum of their body. And I think those penalties are BS when they're just a normal football play. And I don't think that penalty should have been thrown. I think the refs should be able to use, common sense and discernment,
right,
when making those penalties. But I understand trying to protect kids, but there's some things you just can't protect. You cannot protect in this sport. I mean, that's just the nature of the sport.
Yeah, I mean, like, part of it's just it's a game, and it's a game that you're out there playing, and it's like, hey, I'm with you on that. I just, I don't know. If you get kicked out for a half, but you help, it wasn't a cheap shot by no means. And you're out there flying around and getting to the ball. I mean, that's what the team needed, It would, and it's like Dickie says here, BS targeting call. I agree. I'd rather that than last week when everybody's standing around watching the Florida State guys run down the field. I'm also glad that, and any final thoughts?
Well, I do have a question.
Yeah.
And maybe you know the answer to this for some people in the comments. Was that Kane Womack's dad that's standing beside him in the game? He had on a red hoodie. And he doesn't look like he's part of the coaching staff, but he had on a special badge. I wonder if that's his dad.
That's a good question, man. I was talking to a friend of mine who is friends with Kane's dad today. But he didn't say anything about him being on the sideline. So I don't know. Did you guys, if somebody out there saw
it looked like he could be his dad.
Yeah.
It looked like it could be his dad. I just noticed a couple times when they panned the camera over to him, there was a guy, looked old enough to be his dad, standing right there beside him on the sidelines. And so I was wondering, big game, it's like, is that his dad standing there? So
might be.
I don't know.
Zane says it was his dad. Sorry. And then M1920 says he's at all the games. Yeah, so it is his dad. Yeah, his dad was a defensive coordinator, and just from what I heard, he's a pretty good dude. So look, any help that he could give Kane on that defense, who knows if they even talk about it, but we certainly needed it, man. We certainly needed that today. I'll take that. Put him on the staff at this point. Oh man. Well, hey, thanks for calling. You got anything else?
No, man. That's pretty much it. But I just want to say, man, I appreciate y'all's show. There's a couple of different Alabama shows that I've watched, and I really like the one that you and Clint put on. So, I know you do a show with Jake Coker. Jake's a cool dude. I live in the Dothan area, and last year he came to the Buffalo Wild Wings in Dothan, and I was sitting there and talked to him for about 10 minutes, and he's such an easy, cool guy to talk to, and that was cool for me because he won the national championship in Alabama my senior year of high school. So to be able to meet him was pretty cool. So I've always liked watching the shows when it's you and Jake.
No, thank you, man. And like I got to say this too. Come see us when we're doing the tailgate show. Some of you guys did. Like it was a thin crowd at Innisfree this Friday, right? but you guys showed up. Some of you guys showed up, and it was great. It was great hanging out. So we'll be there at Innisfree this week to do the tailgate show from 1 to 3 on Friday. And then when Bama plays Georgia, we're going to be down on the Floribama, which might be closer for you. Same thing Friday, 1 to 3. But Coker's a great dude, genuinely awesome guy. He's a good friend. He is the most unassuming national championship quarterback you're ever going to meet. He's so humble, and I'm not just saying that because I work with him. If he wasn't, I'd probably make fun of him for loving him, but he just doesn't. He's just such a good, down-to-earth guy. And I've really enjoyed him.
He was so easy to talk to.
Yeah, great guy.
He was so easy to talk to, and just that was a cool experience to be able to sit and just chat with him and for a little bit. But yeah, man. Well, I appreciate y'all, and have a good night.
Hey, Roll Tide, man. Thank you for calling in, and thank all of you guys for calling in. Sorry that we had the show rolling, and then so what happens is when you call in, I'm just going to tell you guys, this is like the behind the scenes stuff, because Brett did this last year too on accident. When you call in with one of these, and if you can either go through a link or you can go through the StreamYard, which is what we use to broadcast. Clint, you went through the StreamYard. When you try to hang up, you mistake the turn the broadcast off button for the I'm getting out of here button. And so Clint's feeling, we just got him feeling better about convincing us that Alabama was going to be great and having a bad week. And then, then this happened. So anyway, but look, we appreciate you guys so much. Let me remind you that we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort. I should have said this before. And talking about Coker, let's play a Coker spot and then we'll talk about him a little bit. Let's see this guy in action.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now. Let's roll.
There it is, brought to you by Pearl River Resort down in Philadelphia, Mississippi. If you'd have gone down to their sports book and you put, some pizza money on Bama, 36.5 points was the spread today, you would have had a great time because they won 73-0. So you would have had this thing covered by the half. It would have been just kick your feet up and watch the game and have no problems at all. Roll Tide, everybody, and say that with a thumbs up. Just kind of recapping the show today. First off, I gave, and you couldn't not, but I mean, everybody got an A+. I thought that the game plan was great. I thought that the execution of the game plan was great. I thought that the intensity that everyone brought out was perfect. I think that the coaching staff from DeBoer down, maybe from Greg Byrne down, got the message that what we saw at Florida State, Michigan, Oklahoma is not up to our standard. And the effort thing at Florida State was the worst. And I get it. It's an NIL error, but we don't care. We want to see these guys go out and play like their hair's on fire. They did that today. And I hope that it's a corner turner for this program under DeBoer. But everything that Alabama wants to accomplish is still ahead of them. But they're going to have to go out there and bring that intensity. And it's not going to be that easy next week. And it's not going to be easy at all the game after that and the game after that. I mean, there's just so many good teams that Alabama's going to play. But what they did show us today is that they have the ability to learn from that first performance and to grow from it. I thought Ty Simpson was excellent. He was accurate. He was poised. There was a lot more leadership today. I thought the running game was great. Loved it. Loved watching Riley run the ball. And it was cool seeing all those guys. There was a block that Young made on a pass play that was just perfect. Guys coming off the edge. It's one-on-one. Boom, he just knocks the guy out of the way. We complete a pass. I can't remember if it was a touchdown or not, but that was, in a nutshell, what we need to do. Do your job and do it well. And then at the end of the game, getting to see Keelan Russell and getting to see A.K. Deer. Awesome. Awesome. So, there's some talent. There's a lot to look forward to. I thought that part of it. I thought the defense was great. They were on the attack. They were getting turnovers. They were tackling, gang tackling. They still, like Clint said, I still worry about the pass rush. But for this team to be successful, the offense is going to have to click. And what would make Alabama a really dangerous team is if they're able to score points like Washington could. And remember, when Washington was really good, the year that DeBoer took them to the national championship game, they didn't have the best defense, but you were always trailing them. They had a good enough defense where they would force you into mistakes because you're always trying to catch up. They beat Oregon twice that year. So keep that in mind. I thought that was great as well. Personally, tomorrow morning, I'll have a show on my channel, Bama Tailgate with Shank. You guys can check that out. Clint and I will be back here on Cover Crimson all week for you. And we'll be breaking this thing down. and really building up to Wisconsin. And it's going to be a fun matchup against the Badgers. And it's another one of these games that you look at and go, okay, this kind of game is one that, that gives you an idea of what it's going to take for us to be successful. So that'll be Saturday. And if you don't have tickets, giving away a pair of tickets Friday at Innisfree at the tailgate show. So we gave away one pair of tickets today, giving away another pair. So come by and holler at us Friday and be part of our audience. 1 to 3 Friday at Innisfree, and somebody's getting 2 tickets to Alabama, Wisconsin. They're great seats. All right. Thank you guys for being here again. Brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Roll Tide, and have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Let me do this too. Let me give you one of these on the way out.